continuing the next part of What if Asia rose instead of Europe, and the Cold War is on full thing, and tensions are about to get worse. So nuclear weapons, which are now being created. So countries with nuclear weapons include the Xenia Union, which have at least 10 to 20 nuclear weapons. Sunni, which has at least 3, becomes a nuclear power. And also Asgarcia has 1, and Osai at least has 10. Soviet equal is the newest nuclear power with 1 nuclear weapon, and the Triangle Alliance is about to fall. This is pretty bad for these countries down here, as Soviet equal finally now can take out these countries over here. As the Triangle Alliance fell through, Sakya and Adonia stay apart, and these countries over here. But the Triangle Alliance is struggling to survive. This is because of political instability in this little area right here, including Brachia and Moravia. These 2 countries are struggling with Soviet equal influencing the government and trying to overthrow it. Moravia straight up falls into a civil war with the impoverished rural areas rising up against the government. Moravia is not going to survive this, and they don't really have many major cities. They have like 2 or 3. Okay, they have the capital, and they have like several major cities around the capital, and they have like 2 or 3 here, and they have 1 on the border of Soviet equal. However, the rural farmers will protest against Moravia's government as well, and they start to create a massive front line in the east. Osai manages to defeat this part of the movement and sends troops in. However, Soviet equal sends its army in, which creates a proxy war as well. Because the insurrectionists and the farmers and the terrorists basically this becomes the Syrian civil war. Okay, with various factions fighting in the country, and this is pretty bad for Moravia, as Moravia's government just collapses. It starts to collapse, and now regional independence movements like the northern Lake area right here also declare their independence as well. This is pretty bad for Moravia, and the country just collapses as well, starting the downfall of the Triangle Alliance, and Moravia as a governmental entity no longer exists. So the Finai government will annex this little area up here as they claim it. This little area right here will become its own separate country. This little area around this little lake here, they're a very rural country, very similar to Vermont, the state of Vermont, or like Rwanda. The capital city will be the largest town here, and they don't really have much population. Fawa doesn't really have much population. The unnamed terrorist alliance country is here. Soviet equal will expand over here. The farmers will get this country, and the other movement, which is the communists, will gain this land here. Moravia has essentially collapsed, with a new government being created in the south. And this spells the end for the Triangle Alliance, as Caesar and Darwin, become isolated from the and also causes Sakia to leave as well, and Adonia to leave. Down here, the Triangle Alliance will still be alive as Brachia does not leave, but the Triangle Alliance is just Osai and Brachia, and a new member, Dante. They are the newest member because they don't like what happened to their neighbors, so they will create this new alliance, which is Dustiel. Next, the Cold War continues in Asia. Well, the Soviet alliance continues to go forward with the movement. So North and South Bisa, there was massive tension in this area right here on the border here. As South Bisa, as the Xenia Union now has 40 nukes, continues producing nukes, and they have produced at least 25 nukes, and now destroying nukes in North Bisa. They at least have 3 to 4 nukes in this North Bisa area, this North Bisa country, and it's just very much tension, as South Bisa has no nukes, and basically the South Bisa's government basically wants to create nuclear weapons to deter, to basically, because they could invade at any time and just nuke all of the major cities. So South Bisa, with the help of Sunni, which has 7 nukes now, are developing nuclear weapons. Osai at least has 12. Equal at least has 13 now. And the Cold War starts to get even worse as Fanai, which is actually, Fanai is also part of this alliance, but Osai and Fanai make a deal about the new lands here, and they want to invite Fara, which is the new country, to the alliance. They don't like the fact that the Taras or Maku group here, which doesn't have a capital city, and the Soviet Republic of Moravia exists as well. Their capital will be here. The farmers will be here, and the terrorists will finally get a capital as well. The farmers, they do not really like the fact that they're on the border with a terrorist country, but the problem is they can't really get any help as they're surrounded by countries that are neutral as well. Meanwhile, the Soviet equal wants to extend its borders here, and they'll basically get the doorsteps of these countries here. And Fusaka, which is part of the Triangle Alliance as well. And basically they want to expand the Triangle Alliance to be a global alliance. So they want to participate and help the Asian Alliance, which is the Circle Alliance as well. However, the Circle Alliance is about to gain one more member. And that's Sunni. This would be too surprising, as Sunni has been helping Bisa, Caesar, and Tavi against the Xenia Union as well. The Xenia Union also now has putting its sights to finally reclaim this land down here as rightfully theirs. This causes basically a conflict between Viate and Xenia Union, as Viate doesn't want to lose the lands to a foreign country. So therefore Viate puts the troops on the border to try to survive against the possible incoming invasion. Meanwhile, in South Africa, there is a war over basically this little area right here. Kurali and Namto declare war on each other. Kurali starts to invade with the troops going further southward, and they start to basically capture a lot of the rural areas of Namto as well. But both countries are equally as powerful as each other, and also sell a very similar culture. Here, these two countries sell a very similar culture. However, both of these countries hate each other's guts, okay, because they have claims over parts of Africa. And Namto is being invaded relatively easily, however, But the problem is the capitals, because Kauai basically invaded this area for its capital, to protect its capital, and Kauai is mostly invaded to like rural areas, and this is basically a massive standoff. As Namto has a lot of it is stopped the Kauai invasion, and this war, both sides basically admit is going nowhere. And basically they decide to create a peace treaty here, as basically these two countries are not very prosperous countries. They're landlocked countries in the middle of Central Africa with like no resources. So these countries are just continue to struggle as well. Meanwhile, ETA and Isai invades ETA, as they see this as an easy target to take out. ETA is a very weak country, so they annex ETA and take them out. ETA has been formerly annexed in the ESA, which is one of the strongest countries in all of Africa and the most influential country, and one of the most influential countries in Africa. As they have a lot of oil, which already gives them a lot of power, and now they basically control a lot of the oil in Africa, so they control basically a very great resource. And another country that starts to get a lot of more power is Nilda. This is the socialist country right here, but they're starting to get a lot of political power because of the oil refineries. As you all know, in real life, the Middle East is a lot of oil, and a lot of countries that now have to trade with Nilda. Okay, and because of this newfound wealth and this newfound, they actually vote to, kind of like China, vote to leave and become a neutral country because they want to boost the economy because of oil. Yes, that's the whole reason why. Okay, also Poppy, they discovered Asari had a lot of oil, so they actually, with the help of Pentanovan, start to invade Asari, and Asari's like, what the fuck is going on here? Okay, because both Pentanovan and Poppy want access to oil. Okay, they want access to the black gold. Okay, but this is upsetting the Asari government very much because they weren't expecting this to happen. Okay, and Poppy wants to relive its glory days of its empire as if it were Pentanovan. So both countries just invade Asari, and they are destroying the Asari military. Another country that joined in is Ranin, which is this country right here. This country has kind of quite done nothing so far, but now they're invading. They basically declared independence from Poppy, but they want to reunite their ethnic brethren, so they just take over this area up here. And Asari, they're now taking over the major oil fields here, and because of oil, Asari is basically destroyed. So a peace treaty is decided between all four countries. Ranin will finally get to unite its borders. Down here, which is all the way down here, Poppy can finally regain its lands it once lost. And Pentanovan can finally regain its culturally significant lands. So Asari is now eliminated, and there could be a fourth power that's going to be involved with this that also wants its ethnic lands back, and that is Doltoiv. As they are more connected with this area right here, basically destroying this large Middle Eastern country right here, and this is the new borders of Iran, basically gobbled up between these four countries over basically one resource. And now Poppy, Pentanovan, and Dantoi's economy are booming. And I think that wraps it up for this part of the series. Unfortunately, North and South America haven't done anything in this episode, but a lot of things have happened in Asia, especially here. And now, the war begins between the Xenia Union and Viate. Goodbye.